Hello, it's Chris from My Stamp Lady. I am here to show you my favorite new tools from Stampin' Up. It is my blending brushes, and I'm going to show you how I got this background with my blending brushes. I also use the Basic Pattern Decorative Masks for that. And let's use that background with the Hydrangea Haven Bundle. This is a fun bundle that you can get right now in Stampin' Up's January through June mini catalog. Okay, so I have all of my papers cut here. I have the sizes listed in the information below and on my blog. I'm going to start with my background. I have my piece of Whisper White. That's what I started with. I am going to tape this down with a little bit of washi tape, and I just want to catch that corner there. I chose to use this pattern, so I'm going to place that down and use a little bit of washi tape to hold that in place. Okay, once I've taped my mask in place, I have my Seaside Spray Ink, tapping my blending brush on there. I like to take the first kind of dab off so I don't go down onto my cardstock and get a darker spot. When you have the Seaside Spray like you'd like it, you can lift up your mask. I've left my paper tape down because I decided I didn't like it quite so stark. So I took some Sahara Sand with a clean blending brush, and these wash out nicely if you wash them out fairly quickly after you've used them. I've also soaked them a little bit and then with a little bit of laundry detergent, and they came out nicely from that too. So you notice I'm still tapping that off on my scratch paper so I don't get a dark spot where I'm starting. And then I go in small circles to get that coverage on there. And I'm going to continue with the Sahara Sand until I have the color that I like. Now, I did get it a bit darker down here than I was planning to. There's going to be stuff covering here, but I'm going to add just a bit of a darker area at the top just to balance that out. But when you're all done, you can hardly even tell that I've started with a basic white cardstock. I've placed some adhesive on the back side of the piece that I did with the blending brushes and the mask, and I'm putting this down on a Sahara Sand card base. Decided to use my Stamparatus with the hydrangea. I can use multiple plates that fit right into place where I've got this lined up, and then I will be able to go over it with the additional colors. So you'll see me changing that out as I go. So first of all, I'm going to put down my piece of white cardstock. I'm going to use the magnets to hold that paper in place. With Misty Moonlight Ink, I'm going to ink up the hydrangea outline. So just ink that up, and we'll pull that over and stamp. Okay, so now I can just remove this plate, and I can bring in the plate that has the leaves on it. And I lined this up ahead of time. I've inked up the leaf and the stem, and I can bring it over and just stamp that down. Move that plate, and I'll bring in the next plate with Seaside Spray. Let's ink up the flower of the hydrangea, and we'll just stamp that down. And I have my flower stamped. From the hydrangea dies, I'm going to take the die that will cut out the flower, the outline, and run this through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. After I've cut this out, you can see how I have the leaves and the flower. I am going to take a little bit of Wink of Stella, add a little bit of shimmer to this flower here. I have inked the sentiment "You Make Me Smile" with the Misty Moonlight Ink. I am using the stitched shapes, and I will cut that out with that oval. I decided I didn't want to leave that quite that stark, so I am going to add a little bit of Seaside Spray to the background. Get it as smooth or as even as I can. I've already used the scalloped oval die from the layering ovals to cut out a little background for my sentiment. So now all that's left for that part is just to layer that. And I took a piece of Seaside Spray and a piece of Sahara Sand, and I run that through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine with the Pinewood planks. So I will just layer that right on top of that. Let's just put some adhesive down there. And then we can pull in that background. So I'm gonna put some adhesive down on the back side of both of the layers of the Pinewood plank embossed pieces. And we'll put that down for my background just to kind of ground my flower. Okay, so when I came to put in my flower, I decided that I wanted to have the one leaf stick up and it gets covered by my sentiment. So I just took that off. I just took that and I snipped that off, and then I will save that and put that in afterwards. So I'm going to put down some dimensionals on the back side here. Put down that flower. I will need a dimensional on this end, but I can just use some of the regular seal on the other end. I have a mini glue dot on the back side of my leaf, and I can just tuck that in there. I just tied a bow with the linen thread. I'm going to put down just a spot of my multi-purpose glue. We'll set that in there and let it dry. And any overhanging glue will dry clear. To accent that sentiment, let's put down a few of the black matte dots. You can see how you can use the blending brushes to make a fun background for your cards. If you have any questions, contact me, Chris, at mystamplady.com.